Hey, walk in and put your hands. There is a water trough right here. There is still spring water that runs underneath this building. About 5 people at a time go in and.
There's like acid in your hand now. It's like cold. It's cold. Yeah. That's balling.
Anyone know what a dairy is used for? So it's a dairy building. The cows aren't in here. It's not used for milking the cows, but it is used for storing the milk, right? Because you're looking at it even as hot as it is today, 95 today, right? The spring water coming under this building is still a constant temperature. This is a dairy or a spring house. What it is, it's a refrigerator. Okay? It's a refrigerator, and it's directly tied to the kitchen. Now, we just got here. We got access by coming down right past the barn and the McCormick house. Well, what's the McCormick house and the barn about?
Managing the farm.
It's about managing the farm. And specifically, by archaeological evidence, it's about managing what on the farm? The horses, right? All right, if that's the case, do you think our journey down here, did we come the correct way to the spring house? So how do you think you access the spring house? If you just look at the building and where the doors are, right? How do you think you're supposed to get to the spring house? A bridge or something, right? If this is a refrigerator, where's this building oriented to? It's oriented exactly to the kitchen. Because whether you talk about 100 years ago or yesterday, people are no different. You want to get here the most convenient way. You don't go take your refrigerator and put it in your bedroom, right? Or in your basement and then say, hey, go grab me some butter. And you have to run down your basement to get butter, right? That doesn't make any sense. Where's your refrigerator? It's where?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Like as close as it possibly can be to either the stove or the sink or something, right? That you have a triangle between sink, stove, and kitchen that should be 2 steps. You design modern kitchen design. So this building really is linked to the house. What's the difference between this building and the barn and the McCormick? Like, how is it different from the McCormick house, but similar to the big house? It's made out of very similar stone, right? I mean, even its materials kind of look like it's associated. What would have been here is probably, this would have either been cut way down or a path between here and the kitchen. And whether that was a path that was intentional or that's just worn in, when you're coming, anything that you're cooking with that you would pull out of your refrigerator today, if you have it in 1807, you're pulling it out of this building. So what's happening is anytime you have to come down for butter or cream or milk, right, you're running down here and you're coming the most direct path from the kitchen. You're getting down here and you're getting back up. What we're going to do is we're going to walk back up and get to the top and then walk that path and get back up to the kitchen area. Goes up to the kitchen, down to the spring. The door in the spring house leads right to the door of the kitchen, right? What's the problem with these big tall trees that are in our way? Yeah. So what do you think about them? They weren't there. That's exactly right. How do you know they weren't there? Well, one reason is they're spruce trees. They're not indigenous to Ohio. Worthington would never have them. So as you begin that research, you also can find a letter where they were planted in, I think, 1902 or 1904. 4 small spruce trees, like a little garden area. Now they've grown huge, right? Now they block our connection between the dairy and the kitchen. Servants' hall, right? Totally disconnected from the house with an entry that faces west. Why does the entry face west? Everything associated with the servants faces west, right? Wash house, which has been reconstructed. What happens in the wash house? Washing, all laundry, right? All laundry is done by hand. Boiling water in a big, huge copper kettle. Beating it out by hand with those things now we use to make music. Washboard. Smokehouse. What happens in a smokehouse? Yeah, one of the things that Worthington has, he has a contract with the Army. He provides 500 barrels of salt pork every year to the Army. Happens they have pigs running everywhere in these woods on the property. And around January, February, they begin herding those in and butchering them. Put them in barrels, pack those barrels with salt, put them on, if you played that game, the River Trader game, he puts them on flatboats, send them down the Mississippi to New Orleans, and sells them to the Army. They also put up several hams in here, which then get smoked for several weeks, and then they're preserved and then used throughout the year. Why do we associate ham with Christmas? Or actually, I should ask this first. Why are you butchering pork in the winter?
So you don't have to feed them during the winter?
Partly.
Cold out.
And least amount of fat,
You don't want
and
to have to feed the
and it preserves them. You're not feeding them over the winter, and it preserves the meat between the time you can get it smoked. Correct? So starting around January. Why? So that's why we associate ham with Christmas, right? Because that's when you begin butchering the pork down, and you bring them in the house, have a big nice ham Christmas, and then you start putting them in the smokehouse, smoking them.
Did he provide the pork for the Army just for a specific amount of time, like for the War of 1812, or was it for the whole time he's living here?
I don't know if it's just during the war. He has a contract. Actually, I think it's not during the war. I think it's in the 1820s, and the pork is going west. That it's feeding the Army who is going west after the war. This is the work yard, right? You should take a look in the smokehouse. This is an area where we looked at that large building here. I'm going to make two notes. We're going to run back around here. Look at this wall. And then we're going to come to the other side. Look carefully at this wall, and then come over to the other side. On the way, look inside the smokehouse. See anything different? Note anything different about this one? What?
There's no door.
Well, there's no door on the other one, that's for sure. This is a door from the Worthington bedroom out into the garden. What about the wall construction? More color. More square. Yeah, these are actually finished dressed stones. When we go back around if you go back around and look at the other side, that's all field stone. Even in the construction of the house, there's a recognition that one side of this house is for a privileged family, right? And the other side is just a work area for servants. What do you care what it looks like? So you build it with two totally different stone. Why here? Because dressed stone costs more to put up. You have to pay someone to dress it. You follow that? So these clues in the exterior are all in the construction, just like they are when you go into the inside of the house.